Yo, what is happening, YouTube? No face cam today simply because of the fact that I didn't really want my face to be distracting due to the fact that the primary focus of this video today was to talk about this new journey I've embarked on with a game that I've been playing. And as you've seen in the thumbnail and as you've clicked, you know that I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds, right? And I just wanted to say this game has been phenomenal so far as like this is my first Monster Hunters game. And yeah, I wanted to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds on this channel and my experience so far over 20 hours in. Just so you know, this is a new game for me, right? And as someone who primarily plays Tekken, which is a 3D fighting game if y'all didn't know, Monster Hunter Wilds was able to completely captivate me with its world as a new player. And if you're wondering if you should give this game a try, let me show you why I'm happy I decided to start this journey, right? So, with the recent release of the latest entry to Monster Hunters, with this latest entry being Monster Hunter Wilds, this launch trailer sparked up some old memories of my very short time with Monster Hunter World, and it made me ask myself, like, what happened to me continuing the last games? Like, for some reason, when I started Monster Hunter World and I never went past 4 or so hours. I never played past 4 or so hours, I can't lie. But watching the launch trailer for the newest entry really had me saying like, yo, wait, this actually looks really sick. Like, this looks dope. And I can't lie, the launch trailer was awesome. And so, of course, you know, I caved in and I bought Monster Hunter Wilds, wanting a fresh perspective on the series, hoping that this game will give me something that something I may have missed from the last games, right? Like, what was Monster Hunter World a bad game? Absolutely not. I truly don't know why I didn't stick with it. But with that being said, Monster Hunter Wilds truly delivers some really fleshed out mechanics, graphically beautiful sceneries, and surprisingly an engaging story so far. Just remember, I still haven't beat the game since I'm taking my time and I'm exploring a lot of the world, but within the 20 hours, I think I'm pretty far so far. And game has been really, story wise, it's been really good. Not the greatest, if I'm being honest, right? But we'll get into that later on, right? But yeah, so playing Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm playing this game on the base PS5, and I'll start off by saying the game looks stunning visually, right? So base PS5, it looks beautiful. And I'm playing on the balance mode, I believe, for the graphic settings, which sits around, I believe, about 45 frames per second. I believe so. It's a nice sweet spot for my preference, right? Now, I do have a PC, and what is it? I have a RTX 3070 with a 12th gen i7 Intel core with 6 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, 16 gigabytes of RAM, excuse me. However, I have read from a lot of reports and friends who have it on PC having issues with performance. So I did decide for a smoother play experience, I did buy it on the PS5. As well, I do own a PlayStation Portal, and being able to play this game on the go and on the comfort of my bedroom is a huge plus, I can't lie. I'm sure for Steam Deck owners, I'm sure you guys can relate, but regardless of whether you own one of these devices or not, if performance is something y'all are curious about, just keep in mind about the concerns on PC, and just make sure you keep up to date with the latest patches depending on what console you're playing on, right? So do keep that in mind. It has been known that PlayStation 5 has had a more smoother, stable experience, and everything you're seeing here is captured on my PS5 here, and it looks great. I haven't had any issues with the game, like not one visual issue or game crashing, nothing like that at all. Monster Hunter Wilds immersion with its world and how the environment interacts is by far, in my experience, is one of the best worlds I've explored in the wild. Not in a wild, but in a while, right? It's not necessarily the best world, right? I'm not saying that, but it's pretty far up there, right? So, and just so you guys can understand where I'm coming from, the last games that had me this way was Tears of the Kingdom, along with Mass Effect, Control, Cyberpunk, and many other games in the past that I've played, right? So like, this game did make a mark on me when I did start playing this game here. the world really feels alive with its diverse creatures and its different biomes per se, right? From lush environments to desert plains and even like icy areas, it really keeps the eyes interested. And I never found myself bored or like desensitized to the world so far, right? To complement the world Monster Hunter Wilds brings comes its very fleshed out mechanics of the game. They feel good and it just flows well overall. It just feels really good in the hands, and the controller feels great. If you have a total of 14 different kinds of weapons to choose from, each offering a very unique approach into how you hunt monsters in the game. Currently in my playthrough, I have used the longsword and dual blades, and so the longsword has offered me reward in timing my attacks and relying on exposing myself to parries to get really big damage. And the dual blades, which I'm currently using now, gives me fast focus attacks, which what feels like combos that can just shred monsters, as well as having a special feature that depletes from my stamina to enhance my attacks even further. So if you want enhanced attacks, you'll press R2 on the PlayStation 5 controller and it'll deplete stamina and enhance those attacks, right? And as well, it's actually kind of funny. It's very anime-like too. It looks straight out of a scene from Attack on Titan when they're using the Omni, I forgot what it was called. It's been a while since I watched the show, but the omnidirectional rigs and stuff like that, right? It literally looks like a scene straight out of that, which is crazy, but it's really, really, really cool. Yeah, I believe there's a weapon for pretty much everyone, and even if you get bored of your current weapon, you have plenty of other options to keep it entertaining. Not to mention, using these weapons, they feel good. It feels really, really good. You can almost feel every single hit going against the rough textures of each monster you face, with the PS5 controller definitely enhancing this experience too. Moving along to the story and my thoughts so far, and this is something I would love to hear from Monster Hunter veterans, right? I think the story has been very engaging, and mind you, again, this is my first Monster Hunter game I have put this many hours into. They have been able to keep it interesting, and it's much more deeper than just, you know, being a hunter hunting monsters. But don't get me wrong, this is exactly what Monster Hunter Wilds is, but what I do appreciate is the story has allowed me to be fully engulfed in the world of Monster Hunter Wilds and the inhabitants of the world, along with a decently interesting plot. And it's nothing like The Last of Us story or Spider-Man, unfortunately. You know, it's not, and I wouldn't get this game expecting a AAA cinematic story experience, but what I love about the interactions is like you have within the world is everything almost feels genuine. It feels natural, and the characters are just a joy to be around. Like one thing I want to point out though, which I think is funny, one thing I want to point out is that there's, for some reason, there are long awkward pauses in between the sentences when you're talking to the NPCs in the game. I'm not too sure what causes this, but there will be like a solid second of two of your character and the NPC just staring at each other, which I find hilarious.
Me? I suppose there's an idea in my head of what I should be. So I try to do what I think is right, hoping it will take me one step closer to it.
That sounds like it requires a lot of discipline.
But I wind up just pressing circle as soon as they finish the last word of their sentence, just to make it a little bit less robotic. Like, I swear, for my Mass Effect fans, we've seen awkward dialogue interactions between characters, so, but hey, like, maybe this is something you'll feel right at home with, right? But in general, though, the story isn't necessarily its strong suit, but again, I don't see that as a bad thing at all. Now that we talked about the overall mechanics of the game and some story, I did wanted to take a dive into what appears to be a big topic, which is the game's difficulty, right? So within my 20 plus hours of gameplay, I logged in my playthrough, I actually have not died once. And I'm saying this because I think this has made me realize something that goes beyond me looking for like a super difficult experience, and hopefully this helps you with what you should be expecting from this game too, right? And I'm saying this because I'm not like this prodigy where I figured out this game's formula on day one, and I'm sure I'm gonna meet my match with one of these monsters soon, and trust me, I've already had some pretty close calls. However, I think overall games have been more difficult And with the number of Souls-like games out there, just one of many examples to name, I think it's fair to say players have been coming a long way in their skill, right? And I don't think the game necessarily is too easy. I just think a lot of players have been prepped to face these kind of challenges now. And now, did Monster Hunter Wilds like underestimate its player base? Not at all. I don't think so. Should you be buying this game though, expecting a Souls-like experience? No, maybe not for the first playthrough at least, right? But I think we have been better equipped to handle such difficulty as time passed, right? With that being said, this experience allows you to really focus on the many layers this game can have, and you can get comfortable with the world so that when you start doing your next playthrough, which I heard is where the real challenge begins, you're going to be more equipped, which I can understand this if this is the direction of Monster Hunter Wilds, right? And if this is intentional, I can understand. And if that's the case, it does a great job with allowing you to be more equipped for your next playthrough. So from what I've experienced so far and what I could imagine by the time I get done with my playthrough, right? I've learned a lot in my playthrough so far. But yeah, like I was able to really shift my focus into understanding the different armor customization elements, exploring which weapon works for me without having to risk dying because I simply didn't know what I was doing. And hopefully this makes sense too, but it allowed me to understand that the difficulty wasn't its main purpose of the game, but it served its purpose for the main experience of the game, right? And what I'm getting at is basically, it's like I said before, it's not a Souls game. It's not that kind of game, right? It's not Devil May Cry 3 on the PlayStation 2. But yeah, like I said, it's not a Souls game, and I think once I understood that within the first hour or two, it actually helps the game, especially for newer players, which is important. And I'll definitely will come back and do a part 2 of this video when I complete my first playthrough, and then maybe a part 3 maybe for when I complete my second playthrough, right? And I'll probably have a better understanding of how I feel about this game. But in all, Monster Hunter Wilds does a tremendous job with providing new players a brand new world to be a part of, right? It really gets you up to speed as if you've been a part of this world for what feels like 5 games already. And now that I've been playing this game, I get excited like every time I think about what's new to discover in the wilds, right? I hope this video kind of breaks down my general thoughts and experience of the game, and hopefully I was able to convey that I have had a wonderful experience so far, I'm assuming with many more experience to go, right? So I'm going to keep playing this game for sure. I'm going to be chilling on just whether it's on playing in my living room or playing on the portal. If you guys want to see me stream this game, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. I've just been having some issues with my stream lately, which is why I haven't been streaming. But yeah, all in all, I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you guys so much for coming by and taking the time to listen. If you made it all this way, it really helps the channel out a lot, so thank you so much. But other than that, y'all take care, and hopefully I will see y'all around during the hunt if I do decide to play multiplayer. But other than that, y'all take care. Peace.